Today we are going to learn about configuration annotations and at the rate bean annotations we are going to see. Okay, so let me tell you, like as part of our last session, what we have covered. We have covered at the configuration annotation, component scan, and here the component annotation we have also seen. So there are basically two ways we can create the beans for one class, right? As part of the XML, what we can do, we can configure our bean as part of the bean tag. Okay, so we can create the bean id bean by means of like at the rate component, and to configure beans.xml we have to provide which package to scan, so that whenever in the package, if it will find the class is having the at the rate component annotation, then it will create the IOC container will create the ID for that. Okay, this is what we have studied, and then we have completely removed this one, the XML file, and for that what we have done, we have used the Java config approach, right, to create the bin. And also like what we can do, we can use the configuration Java config configuration, and here we have to provide the base package, right, with the help of component scan. What package it should be, it should scan to create the bin. This is the last class we have covered. Okay, so today we are going to cover the configuration annotations, the extension to this configuration without using this component scan and this component at the component. So how it is we are going to create the object for this for one class. Okay, so for that what I'm going to do here is like I will create one separate package so that you will not be confused. So here I will write uh, configuration and bin annotation we are going to use. Okay, so this is the package I'm going to create, I have created. And let me close all tabs. Okay, so inside that I will create one simple to demonstrate the configuration and bin annotations. So how we can create the bin out of the by using this annotations. So that I for that what I'll do, I will take one simple use case and I will demonstrate how to use that. Okay, to create the bin. So for that let me take the bike example. The bike is the class. To the bike is a class which is having one method, public void. So let me tell start bike. Start bike. Okay, start is the method, start bike is the method. Here just dummy message to demonstrate like bike started. Bike started. Okay, so what my intention here is how we can create the object of the bike class, and how we can register the ID of that into the IOC container. Okay, so to make this to create for that bike object and register the bike ID into the IOC container, for that we are following the Java configuration approach. In the Java configuration approach, what we have to do, we have to create another class, bike config config class we have to create. And in order to make this class as the configuration class, what we have to do, we have to annotate with the configuration. Okay, this is the annotation which will make this class as a configuration class. And to make our object to this bike class, so what we have to do, we have to create the configuration. Last time we have seen configuration and component scan. It will scan and it will annotate, we will annotate this bike class at the component. But this time we are not going to annotate this with the component at the component. So what we are going to do, inside this configuration class we are going to create the object for this bike. Here we have one class. If there are multiple classes, then what we are going to, whatever the class we have, we are going to create each and every we are going to create the bin id for each and every class. Okay, so how we can achieve that, so we have to write the one method public, and for that bike, if we create the object, then the type of this one is bike, right? So this is the bike object is going to return, and method name, whatever the method name we are going to write, that will be the bin id. So we are writing application context is equals to new annotation config application context, right? So then context dot get bin, and inside that we are passing the bin. bean id. So this bean id going to be the method name. Method name is, for example, we are giving the bike. If we give the bike, then that bike method name is also is going to be the bean id. Okay, so what it will do, it will return one bean object, right? Bean object, bike object. So what will do, will return simple new bike. Okay, this is the things what it will do. If we call this method, then it will return simply return on new bike object. So this bike is nothing but this is the bean id. Okay, so how this is a simple method, but how it will become the bean id? In order to do that, so we have to annotate other at bean method. Okay, bean is B is capital bean. Okay, so if I write annotate this one the bean, then what it will do, the IOC container will make bike this method name as the uh, bean id, and it will return the bean object like the bike object. Okay, let me create the test class for that Java class, that is bike test. Okay, here what we'll do, we'll create the container, right? So we'll create the main method. So inside that we'll write application context. Context is equals to new annotation config application context. Okay, annotation config application content, and here what we are going to pass, we are going to pass that bike config class. Okay, right? Bike config bike config dot class. Okay, this is the things we just wanted to pass, right? So one that is done, then we are going to call context dot get bean. What is the bean name we have to pass here? Bean name is nothing but whatever the method name, that is a bike. Okay, here we'll pass bike. Okay, bike, then this is bike dot class. Bike dot class, this is the things I just wanted to write. Okay, so introduce local variable, this one, and at the end bike dot start bike. Okay, if I run this application, so what we will get? So bike will start, right? The bike is started, it is working fine. So we got to know that in order to create the bean of a class, what we can do, simply we have written the class. So in order to create the bean id bean of a class through the Java config approach, so what we have to do, we have to create one config class. To make the config class as a configuration class, what we have to do, we have to annotate this class as a configuration, and inside that we are going to provide the method, the bean id, whatever we are writing inside the XML or inside the component, the class annotated component. So that things we are going to write the bike, the method, and we will annotate that method with the bean. Then the bean id will become the same method name. Okay, this is the bike I have given, so it is working fine. So let me change the bike bean object. Okay, this time I have changed the name. Okay, if I run this, then you will get the exception. So no, we'll get the exception that bean is not defined. So no bean name bike available, because while calling what we are passing, this is the bike, so that is not available. So in order to make it available, either we have to change that, or this one should match. Okay, I have changed the bike bean object. Okay, so the method name is same. So if I run, then this time it should work. Now you can see it is working fine. So what you understood from this, so you have understood this from this is what you have to understand. What you have understood, you have understood that the method name and the bean id, this should be match. I mean to say this should be same, otherwise it will throw exception. Okay, so this is how we can create the bean object by using the configuration and other bean. Okay, so simple use case I have taken and I have demonstrated. So I hope you have understood other configuration annotation and bean annotation to create the bean. Okay, so that's all for this video. We'll meet in the next video with a new annotation. Thank you.